Housing Development Program is an encyclopedia on housing matters.
Now let's start with the opening ceremony of the 11th Abuja Housing Show, which was well attended by dignitaries and stakeholders in the housing and construction sector from within and outside Nigeria.
The 11th Abuja International Housing Show was well attended by dignitaries and stakeholders from within and outside Nigeria, among whom are Bauchi State Governor Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar, Chief John Oyegun, National Chairman APC, Babatunde Raji Fashola San, Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Honorable Mustafa Baba Shihuri, Minister of State for Power, Works and Housing, Dr. Chris Ngige, Minister of Labor and Productivity, former Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Victor Obongata, Minister of State for Solid Mineral, Bawa Buhari, and Turkish Ambassador to Nigeria, among others.
It is indisputable that housing is a problem globally. So let's focus less on how big it is. Let's focus more on what we can do. We have overcome many problems and we can overcome this. And if you look behind me on that billboard, this is where we should give the biggest applause. Look at all of those brands. The Nigerian brands. It means that some people are doing something. So we are not idle, we are not inactive, and step by step we will get to destination. There are issues of affordability and issues of acceptability. We have empty houses in many states of the Federation. Why are they not occupied? Can people afford them? Where they can afford them, do they like the way they have been built? So I think it's a problem that we must connect and build for the choice and demand of the off-taker. What does he like and what can he afford? And what can our local materials provide? This is where I like to acknowledge the work that my team in the Ministry of Housing has done. In the last 1 year, we've designed a national housing model that responds to the climatic and cultural diversities of Nigeria. We are building now in 33 states, and we're using it as a pilot to then interface with the private sector. But beyond that, even within the financing structure, how can we ensure that those who have legitimate assets, income, but it is not in the formal recorded form, can still be assisted to participate in home ownership?
Let me just quickly say that I don't know any building that can rent for over 20% of the cost of putting it up. And if your interest rate is in the 25–30% rate, then it means you cannot build for rental. So something has to be done clearly about the issue of rent. When we as governors persuaded the president to introduce a contributory pension, we had hoped that the pension fund will provide a large pool of funds for things like housing. I don't know why that hasn't happened, but government has to look into the possibility of making that happen. Mr. Chairman, you are here, so it's up to you. The other issue is question of artisan training. I go around building sites, and all of our tilers, even the people that do your POP, come from Niger and Dahomey and so on. You don't find Nigerians with skills to do any of those building things that we. Why is that so?
The greatest challenge facing housing finance is multiple digit funding, which is readily accessible. The final payback at loan amortization could very easily amount to double what was borrowed during the construction period. This puts the disposal price beyond the reach of the majority. The private sector is faced with the uphill task to overcome several hurdles when seeking funding for housing development, one of which is poor valuation of assets to provide collateral for housing loans, and banks therefore tend to demand an overweighted collateralization, which translates into a big financial burden, which in many occasions are almost impossible to meet. Intervention by corporate concerns equally face challenges, as there are no tax breaks to encourage such interventions.
Consider the following. There isn't a single city in Nigeria of 200,000 people or more that can boast of continuous water supply, 24 hours a day. I understand that Calabar may be an exemption, but only parts thereof. Consider the fact, of course, and forgive me, Honorable Minister, because I'm also involved, we do not have 24-hour power anywhere. Consider the fact that the federal capital, a new city of only about 30 to 40 years of age, at least 60% of the city has no infrastructure.
The APC, for which I can speak, in its manifesto, stated that about 1/3 of all Nigerians live in cities and urban areas, with a national housing deficit of about 17 million units. We promised decent and affordable housing to all our people and promised the establishment of a national housing policy in cooperation with state governments, with a target of raising enough finance to build 1 million housing units annually over the next decade. We also pledge to develop new urban planning schemes in existing cities and new model towns to meet the housing needs of our people. It also aimed to create an obligation on the private sector to build or contribute financially to the building of social housing projects as part of the planning approval for these groups. This is in recognition of the fact that existing policies to promote housing development seem to favor the middle class and the upper income segments of our population.
It was a meeting point to network and brainstorm towards finding a lasting solution to the housing challenges bedeviling the nation, as the theme is solving Nigerians' housing challenge through innovative finance and infrastructure solution. Abuja Housing Show has come and gone, but the quality inputs made by stakeholders remain a great asset that, if adopted by the government, the issue of housing challenges will be a thing of the past.
Housing Development Program is an encyclopedia on housing matters.